So
Because,
take this one as a orientation class.
yes, intro.
Intro of the intro.
It's 101.
Yes.
It is intro to Hermescapades. I'll be your professor. But this is
The Handbag Husband.
the Handbag Husband.
International.
Yay, Lyon, which
Bonjour.
is definitely not Paris. Bonjour, Lyon. So today we are here in front of the Hermes boutique in Lyon, and I think it's a great place to start off our Hermes 101 series. So we're going to do a couple videos talking about kind of beginning to end, talking about whether or not Hermes is worth it, giving those folks who are newly starting out what is the actual process and like what to do after you get that first bag offer. Like what is the next step after that? What's that next
Put and
text?
hide that bag
Yes, okay.
in your closet.
Yeah,
Don't take it out.
Yes, okay,
ever again.
that's one perspective.
Yeah,
so we're going to do a series of videos talking about kind of soup to nuts, the beginning to the end, from our perspective, from one handbag husband's perspective, including you, right? Handbag husband in the royal sense. But this video specifically, we are going to be talking about Hermes. Is it worth it? What it takes to actually do the Hermescapades? What it takes to get an Hermes bag? Because it's not just as simple about money. It's not just money. It's not just walking in and saying, hey, I want this bag. Because I think all of you will know, have you had any kind of even tertiary knowledge of it, that's not how it works. Now, before we get to it, if you like these videos, if you like the Hermes conversation, if you like the Hermes milieu, and if you like the bag candy, and in this series of Hermescapades, we're going to have some great bag candy. We already got some great ones from here in Lyon and so many more boutiques to go. But if you like all that, please don't forget to like and subscribe, because it does really help our channel grow. And of course, we are so thankful for that.
Merci beaucoup.
Merci beaucoup. But also because it means you'll get notified when we have our newest long videos come out and our newest short videos come out and all the stuff we have on the socials, including new socials on Reddit, on YouTube, on Instagram. So we have those ones, as well as our phone number, which might be very applicable in these
Call me
videos.
now.
Yes, call me now. If you have comments, if you have questions, if you're looking for advice about handbags or I guess even marriage, just not financial advice, give us a call at the number down below. We'll be happy to answer those at the end of the videos. So I think one of the things that I think would be most valuable to us, should we have started over again, if we were back to core principles, base principles of Hermescapades, I think one of the perspectives that I would think would be very, very valuable and may have changed the course of the way we have done it is understanding what it actually takes to get Hermes, right? Because it's not just about money, because you have to understand what is the value of Hermes overall. And also, deep, real talk, if we want to be very direct early on, the competition, the game, all the stuff that Hermes does is not actually against Hermes. Hermes is not the competition. You're not trying to beat Hermes. You're trying to
And you
beat...
cannot beat MS.
I mean, you can't beat Hermes. But you're also not... Hermes is simply the referee. Who you're trying to beat is the other players in the game, who are all of us, right? You're not competing against Hermes. You're competing against everybody. You're competing about everyone else who's interested in those bags. And Hermes just happens to be the referee who also benefits pretty immensely. In fact, the most benefit from the games. But they have a supply and demand that they manage. But again, ultimately, it is a competition among all the players, not among the game, which is Hermes. So that is one of the big things. What that ultimately means is that because it's managed by Hermes, they want to keep the value of the bags and the production low as possible to maintain the highest value, which means that they limit who can get those bags, because so many people, understandably, I get it, trust me, watch the other 100 and some odd videos that we put out. We want the bags, but it is a competition against other folks. And I think the earlier you realize that, the better you understand why it takes so much time, why it depends on where you're going, why someone's spend is so much more different. I guess what do you think about that as far as the competition is actually against us?
I mean, obviously, there is no competition against MS. You're not going to outplay them. You're not going to outsmart them, because they're the one who set the rules, all the rules.
Yes, they build the game. They built the game, yes.
It's not like there's no competition. So the competition against other people, yes, I can see in a way. Say, for example, if your SA has 100 clients.
Yeah.
Then yeah. So that's I don't think USA going to get like that exact amount. of the quarterback per year.
Oh, sure. Sure.
So who's gonna get it then? Then there's a pool of competition that you have. But again, this also subject to the specifications of your wish list, and so on and so on and so on.
Yeah. The reason why I mentioned this very early on in this series is because of the fact that there's so much things out there saying, oh, if you do these 5 simple things, you're guaranteed a quota bag, or this one simple hack, whatever, this kind of stuff. And the thing is, you can beat Hermes at their own game. You cannot beat Hermes at your own game, and in fact, you're not playing a game against Hermes.
Correct.
Right? They are the game designer, but they are not the players in the game. So I think that's one very important thing to understand, and also what it'll come into play when you think about how you choose an SA, how you choose a boutique, where you choose your boutique, whether it's in the United States or whether it's international. I think understanding that it is a competition among players will help guide that decision if you are trying to figure out what is the way to balance out your spend and your bag and get the bag, maybe one bag, maybe multiple bags, whatever you're looking for. All that's going to factor into it. So with all that understanding of kind of the beginning of who the players are, I think it's also very important, and I would have loved for someone to tell us and to give us a fairly accurate, because it's going to, your mileage may vary depending on where you are and what you're spending, about how exactly long it does take to get an Hermes bag direct, right? Sure, you can go to Sotheby's, you can go to any other auction sites, you can go to the other ones all around the world. I'm not recommending anybody, no one's paid me off, I don't know anybody, we've never done it. But you could go to those ones and just put down the money and you get a used bag or a bag that has been pre-loved or whatever way they say that. And there's nothing wrong with that. But there is something, at least for us, exhilarating about getting it from the boutique. And so that means that it is a commitment. Like any real relationship, there is going to be a commitment of time and a commitment of money. And that time can vary a lot. For us specifically in our U.S. boutiques, that was about a year or so, right?
A year.
Yeah, about a year. And basically a 1.5, 1.6 kind of spend around there.
Which is not
right?
horribly bad.
Yeah, but we chose a boutique that's not that competitive. And we put a lot of effort in developing a relationship and showing ourselves to be folks who they want to offer quota bags to, obviously in 1.5 years. Realistically, given the fact that we're in Los Angeles, the competition is quite hard. Beverly Hills, 5-1, 4-1. That is not uncommon to hear. South Coast Plaza, same, right? Same. It's gonna be a knife fight in a closet if you want to prove yourself as someone who's gonna be in that limited space of slots allowed for the quota bags. You're just gonna have to spend a lot because that competition is so bad. We chose Topanga. We showed up brand new, first time. We were lucky enough to have a Topanga boutique grand opening that we could start from the beginning and start fresh and build that relationship from the very beginning. But that's part of the reason why we got there early and waited early in the morning and went there early on and started building a relationship there, because we knew that Beverly Hills is out of our league. Frankly, it's out of our league, right? And then also Europe, right? I think you can, if you spend time in Europe and you can bypass the local and become sort of a pseudo-local like us, there are benefits to that, and generally the ratio will be lower unless you're going to, the flagship stores in Milan or in the UK or, FSH. Those things are a little bit more complicated and are going to be comparable. But if you choose a parochial kind of boutique, a peripheral boutique, there is some calculation for that. So all those things factor into it. And of course, the interpersonal relationship with the SA and locations is everything. So overall, long and short of it, is that you should be prepared to spend 2-to-1, I would say, minimum amount. And you should be prepared to spend a year developing a relationship with someone you can actually tolerate for a year to get to the point where they offer you that first quota bag.
I guess 2-to-1, just kind of like on the higher, to me 2-to-1 is like kind of on the safer side.
Yes.
Depends on your spec. Again,
conservative,
Lily Kelly, obviously, like it might be a little bit more, like the harder to, like more competitive models, obviously it's going to be a little bit more. Or, to me, it's like this. It's time versus money. You can spend a little bit less and willing to wait a little bit longer. See what I'm saying?
Or maybe you're not good at developing relationships, so you just put money instead in, right?
Yeah.
Like there is a calculation that says, hey,
Yes.
look, I'm not great at building relationships, or I'm not interested in developing a relationship,
Yes.
or maybe I'm the kind of person that people don't like. Trust me, I know people like that who don't like me. And if that's the case, you're like, I just don't want to deal with it. You might say, I'd rather just put some, increase that spend a little bit to assuage those sides of it.
But I mean, if you're gonna do that, why don't you just buy the secondary market?
I mean, so, again, it's hard for us to say that because neither
True.
of us have ever bought secondhand. We don't know any of those. We've never really delved into that, so we don't know if that experience is what we want. What we do know is that we like the direct to boutique experience. Yeah, which has a premium on it, right? But, yeah. When we give these kind of general ideas of what it's going to take, 2 to 1, one I think that's conservative, and a year I think is about right? If you consistently create that relationship, you consistently spend on things, and you're looking for a bag that is not hyper competitive, and that's kind of that. So if you are thinking about, hey, should I start Hermès, or I really love the look of this bag, and I really want one of these Hermès, more power to you. Do it. Go do it, and you will not, I don't think from our perspective, you won't be regretful of it. But just realize it's not as simple as showing up and be like, it's my birthday, or I just turned whatever, or it's my marriage anniversary, or I'm celebrating
It might work once in a blue moon. It might work.
But everyone is saying that. Oh, it's my pregnancy announcement, whatever, gift, right? Those things, great, cool. Great for you. But ultimately, it's those things we talked about. Yeah.
Just keep your expectation low.
Yeah.
So you don't get mad why I'm not getting the bag,
Sure.
but other people getting it.
Yeah.
So I think it's very
Or my essay doesn't like me, right? Or
Yeah.
They don't return my text when I didn't
my
demand it.
essay work with a very limited
Yes.
materials that they already have too.
Yeah.
So I don't think So it's many factors playing.
I mean, in some ways, the essay is part of the game, right? They are.
Oh yeah.
They're sort of like NPCs, right? They're sort of non-players, but they're players.
I mean, they are players because they get commissions.
Would you call them as referees? Oh, you think they're players or you think they're referees? I feel like Hermès designed the game, the essays are the referees, and then the players are us. We'll have to work on the metaphor. We'll have to work on the metaphor.
It's like the, what's that called? Like the three kingdoms fight all at the same time.
Yeah. So yeah, I mean, I think those are that's what we wanted to start this off, this 101 with. Look, it is a serious commitment. If you want to get it from the boutique and you want to get the bag you want to get it brand new, and you want it to be yours and only yours forever, only have been yours ever before, except for the people who work on it. Shout out to those folks. Then there's going to be a cost in time and money, and you have to really think, one, are you capable of doing this? Or two, do you want to do this? Right? Is there something else you would rather put that money into, which we are exploring as well?
This specifically, we are referring to quarter bags.
Yes, for quarter bags. Yeah.
Other bags, I think there's many chances.
Certainly, and we could talk about that when we get to the how to design a wish list, or how the wish list affects your quarter bag and non-quarter bag and all that kind of stuff. And we find that if you are not Kelly Birkin Constance, then the world is your oyster, really.
Pretty much, yeah.
Yeah, except for a few exceptions, but for the most part it is. But if you are Kelly Birkin Constance, CBKs, then you're in for a ride. I think this is the good part where we can talk about whether we think it's worth it or not to us, which should be pretty self-evident. I think it is worth it. I think it is worth it to us, but not because specifically only of what Hermès is, the quality and the structure and the legacy, all that kind of stuff, but because it's something that we do together.
I think...
Right? That's what has made it very strong for us.
Kind of like...
It's a thing.
It's Amazing Race, you're talking about?
Yeah.
It's kind
with champagne.
Weirdly, oddly enough, strengthen our marriage and our communication skill, which is odd. We do Hermescapades to make our relationship stronger, which is odd. No, but because it's difficult. It's a long-term goal. It's a commitment.
Sure.
So it's.
I think it forces us to be insightful about our perspective on a variety of things, whether it's travel, whether it's about money, whether it's about fashion and style and aesthetic. Like all those things we have just ridiculous fights about.
Sure.
But ultimately, we put a lot of thought and effort into it and communicate back and forth to us in ways where I think I agree with you. Our level of communication has improved.
Yeah.
And you could have this relationship with maybe a friend who you go Hermescapading with, maybe with a mom or grandma, right? Especially if they have a legacy and they can tell you about Hermes back in the old days, back in my day, right?
Yeah.
Or maybe you do father-daughter or friends or whatever, right? If you can make it into a relationship or you find other people who really enjoy doing it with you, then it becomes so much deeper than just,
and we just chuckle about it. Oh, how did we get that bag? We just look back and like, that's ridiculous, or how hard it was, or how easy it was. That kind of thing. It's not just the goal, which is not just to get the bag. There's always story behind it.
When I'm in the closet and I see this bag, when I see the big boom, Birkin, or when I see Tokyo Kelly, I think back to those trips and think back to those Hermescapades.
Is it like a token?
Yes.
It's a token for sure.
And it carries that energy with it, and it makes it just, I don't know. It's those things that you wouldn't think about on a daily basis, but then you see it and you're like, bam, nostalgia.
Yeah.
So there's that, and maybe that's just us, and I understand that, but I think that's what makes the Hermescapades worth it to us, and I hope that with our information, sharing it with you, you can have some of that too, right? I hope that, obviously the bags are beautiful, and if you want to flex on ladies at your friend's bridal shower or whatever, fine, cool, right? I get that, but there's much more to it, and it can be so much more if you make it a thing, right? And I think we've made it a thing, maybe not by choice, but by accident, and our lives are better for it. So. All right, so with that is our very first episode, our first in the series of our Hermes 101, to talk about, Hermes overall. How do you get from the beginning to the end, and then what do you do at the end, at that point afterwards, right?
So take this one as a orientation class.
Yes, intro of the intro. It's 101. Yes. It is intro to Hermescapades. I'll be your professor. But so that's kind of our thoughts on it, and why we value it, and why you see us traveling around the world doing it. And our take on it, yeah.
What it takes.
And what it takes. What it does take to do it. And I mean, I'd love to hear what your kind of feedback on it is. I know a lot of you folks out there have spouses or friends that you do it with, and you do your Hermescapades, and I think that a lot of you see that value in it because it's there. But I think for those new folks who are saying, like, maybe you're just focused on the bag, you're just thinking about the hard product, you're not thinking about the experience and the memories that are generated with it. And that's just something to consider because it is important. But yeah, I'd love to hear kind of your perspective on that. And also for those folks out there who are Hermesisti, who've been in it, who've been in the game for quite some time and have been successful, or maybe just lurkers. I know there's lurkers out there. Put them down in the comments. I'd love to hear what you all have to say as we continue through the series and get some of that input from some of the veterans as well. Now, of course, if you like these videos, if you like the Hermes conversation, if you like the Hermes milieu, and if you like the bag candy, please don't forget to like and subscribe. That way you get notified when our newest long videos come out and our newest short videos come out, and all the things we have on the socials, including our new Reddit, as well as our advice line, which is very appropriate for this video, where we'll be happy to give you some Hermescapade advice or Hermes advice or relationship advice. But if you do, don't forget to like and subscribe. It does really help our channel grow. And of course, we are so thankful for that.
Thank you.
But with that, from a beautiful city of Lyon, early morning before it starts getting rowdy, we're going to take off and until our next in the series of Hermes 101, where we talk about... What do we talk about in the next one? Oh, yes, where we get down and dirty, talk about what are quarter bags. I know we hear quarter bags. It's like quarter bag this, quarter bag that. What actually is a quarter bag, and why is it called a quarter bag, and why quarter bag overall? All right, now we're going to eat.